Live, local, in-depth. KIRO 7 News at 5 starts now.
Now at 5, Hurricane Ida makes landfall. People along the Gulf Coast are already feeling the effects of its strong winds and heavy rains.
The storm is a life-threatening storm.
We'll show you the conditions people are facing right now and where the storm is heading next. Plus, as more students get ready to head back to school, the debate on vaccinating young kids ramps up. The push for it and the hesitation from parents.
They're going to be in school and around other kids. I want them to be as safe as possible.
An update on the timeline for when the shot could be ready for children. And a sign of hope for business owners in White Center after a devastating arson. The community stepping up to help get those shops back in business. But we begin with Hurricane Ida. It made landfall this morning in Louisiana as a Category 4 hurricane. Now, that brought winds of 150 miles per hour. And there are worries that the storm surge could bring flooding and damage to a wide area of the Gulf. Now, Ida has now weakened just a bit to a Category 3 hurricane, but it is still incredibly dangerous. CBS's Michael George is in New Orleans with the impact they are feeling there.
The extremely dangerous hurricane made landfall in Louisiana as one of the strongest storms in the state's history. As Ida continues to pick up strength, the storm's impact is being felt and feared throughout the Gulf.
Conditions are changing very rapidly, and obviously we have a very dangerous situation on our hands with Hurricane Ida.
FEMA says the coasts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida are in the life-threatening storm surge warning area. President Biden visited FEMA headquarters in Washington as the agency prepared emergency services, including food, water, power generators, and search and rescue teams.
This is going to be a devastating hurricane, a life-threatening storm.
New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell warned residents to stay put in a safe place.
Heed all warnings. Ensure that you shelter in place, you hunker down.
We're in New Orleans' famous French Quarter, just about 50 miles from where Hurricane Ida made landfall with 150 mile per hour winds. Where we are, the winds are getting more and more intense by the hour. We're already hearing reports of downed trees and roofs being ripped off. This tourist staying at a nearby hotel is worried about those who are less fortunate.
We've got plenty of snacks and water. I'm much more concerned with the homeless population here in New Orleans.
Gulf State residents were warned to either evacuate or beware that emergency services might not be available during the height of the storm. In its aftermath, utility companies say power outages could last for weeks. Michael George, CBS News, New Orleans.
Already seeing all those images of damage there. Meteorologist Claire Anderson has been in the Pinpoint Weather Center tracking Ida all weekend. Claire, what are the latest conditions and wind speeds right now?
Well, Lindsay, what we have been seeing is very strong conditions as it moves onshore. It is still a Category 3 hurricane, which qualifies as a major hurricane still, with those wind speeds as of right now 120 miles per hour, moving northwest at 10 miles per hour. So we are still seeing even stronger winds in that very northwest quadrant. As we continue through the rest of tonight and into tomorrow, it will slowly decrease. It will get weaker, but like we were talking about, it is still going to pack a punch as it slowly moves further north and east. What happened yesterday is it slowly moved onshore over some very warm water temperatures around 90 degrees. So it strengthened even more as it moved onshore. We're still looking at storm surges above 9 feet, up to 130 mile per hour wind gusts, and over a foot more of rain in the forecast. I've got your local forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Claire. Well, a block party shut down a White Center street to raise money for several businesses impacted by an arson nearly 2 months ago. There are still no arrests in the fire at the Lumberyard, a gay bar in the heart of the community. Now, KIRO 7's Deborah Horn is live for us tonight in White Center. And Deborah, there is some good news about a lot of the businesses there.
Indeed, there is, Lindsay. That is that some of them are going to be reopening. You know, you're looking at what is supposed to be the tail end of this block party. The purpose to help get the businesses displaced by the arson back in business here in White Center. The food, the vendors, the miniature horse too. All were here on this late summer Sunday to support the business district in this hardscrabble community hit in early July by arson.
It really started from a Facebook comment.
Business owner Jessica Lopez helped organize this block party. And so what is your goal with it then?
So for me, it was really, and I think for the whole group as well, it was really about bringing the community together to raise funds for the business that had to shut down overnight and to just kind of show the community like what White Center has to offer, you know.
That may have been especially needed after the fire here nearly 2 months ago. It took only a few hours for the investigators to determine that the fire started at the Lumberyard Bar, the Strip's only gay bar, and that it was set. But the flames spread destruction beyond the lumberyard to neighboring businesses, nearly all of them owned by people of color. But since then, and several GoFundMe accounts, some businesses have already found new homes, most right here.
This is amazing. You know, the community's always been a very close-knit community.
And that new start includes where the destructive fire began.
We've already leased a space on the strip here.
Right on this strip?
Yes, we have. And so we will, and it's the same square footage of what we had before. So as soon as we have our permits and everything and we can get going, then we'll announce everything and we will reopen as soon as we can.
And they are not alone. Jessica Lopez has a new space for her business as well. Well, as I say, this is supposed to be the end of the block party. It's still going on. And we're going to show you that new space Jessica Lopez has in about a half hour. For now, reporting live in White Center, Deborah Horn, KIRO 7 News.
Love to hear those businesses coming back, and so soon. Thanks, Deborah. Well, we have some new details after 2 people were hurt in a hatchet attack in Seattle's First Hill neighborhood. Police say that a woman was arrested after attacking a man and his mother while they were walking yesterday. This is a picture from Seattle DOT showing the police response on 8th and James last night. The man told police that he hit the suspect in the head with his skateboard in order to escape. The man had a large cut to his shin. He was taken to the hospital. His mother was not seriously hurt. This evening, the search is on for whoever is behind this deadly double shooting in Seattle's Lake City neighborhood. Police are also working to figure out what led up to the violence. It happened yesterday at the Hill Court Apartments along Northeast 140th Street. Police say whoever may have killed the people was able to get in without using obvious force and without anyone noticing that something was happening. People who live there say it is unnerving, but not a surprise.
It's not a surprise. There isn't any safety going on here.
SPD initially said that the shooting may have been a domestic violence incident, but now they say they're not so sure. They added there was no danger to the public. No details about a possible suspect have been released. Now to the crisis in Afghanistan. Today at a military base in Delaware, President Biden stood with grieving families as the remains of the 13 U.S. troops killed in the Kabul suicide bombing were brought home in the dignified transfer. Those killed range in age from 20 years old to 31 years old and came from California to Massachusetts and states in between. Now, earlier, President Biden warned that the threat of more attacks on the airport remains high. In fact, in a statement yesterday, he said that an attack was highly likely in the next 24 to 36 hours.
Threats to our forces and to this operation remain real and significant.
This comes as the U.S. said a drone hit a vehicle carrying multiple suicide bombers from Afghanistan's Islamic State before they could target the Kabul airport. Details about the strike still remain scarce. The U.S. is expected to wrap up its troop withdrawal on the 31st. Well, today, the former head of the FDA predicted that kids as young as 5 years old will be able to get the COVID vaccine by the end of the year. This comes as many local parents are nervously planning to send their unvaccinated kids back to school this week. KIRO 7's Graham Johnson is live tonight in Seattle. And Graham, school in Seattle starts on Wednesday.
And Lindsay, there are some students in the area who will go back as early as tomorrow. Rising cases with the Delta variant have a lot of parents concerned. With kids younger than 12 still unable to get the COVID-19 vaccine, school districts will be relying on vaccination requirements for staff, as well as masking and distancing protocols to try and keep kids safe. Today on CBS's Face the Nation, the former head of the FDA, who is now on Pfizer's board, outlined a possible timeline for vaccinating kids as young young as 5.
So if Pfizer files the application at some point in October, that puts you on a timeline that it could be available, authorized at some point in November, late November, maybe early December. So that, again, puts you on a time frame that you could start rolling out these vaccinations before the end of the year.
We will definitely get our youngest vaccinated as soon as we possibly can.
I don't think we'd be the first ones in the door, but within the first few months that they've opened it for the children, I'd move forward.
We heard from parents today in White Center as they are preparing to send their kids back to school this week. King County's health officer is also talking about the school year ahead, and we are back at 5:30 with the additional steps he hopes schools take to help prevent the spread. Live in Seattle, Graham Johnson, KIRO 7 News.
Thanks, Graham. And here's a look at some of the plans by SPS to create a safe return to school this coming week. It's limiting high-risk activities for the first 2 months of school, like field trips to indoor locations and after-school in-person events with families. It's also making changes to lunchtime, like more spaces and lunch periods. These are just a few of the changes students can expect come Wednesday. Well, a large homeless encampment near Broadview Thompson K-8 will still be there when school starts. The camp sits on district property, so earlier this year, the city of Seattle said it was up to the district to remove the camp. That hasn't happened. KIRO 7's Elle Thomas asked the school district about the safety concerns and spoke to some very worried parents.
One of the fathers we spoke with says this has become a hot spot for crime here in the community, and it's right next door to his kids' school. Now, he says, bottom line, clearing that camp should be a priority. Shopping carts and piles of garbage pepper the waterfront here at Bitter Lake. Dozens of tents and tarps cover the grounds.
It really has become the epicenter for crime in our community.
This large homeless encampment sits on Seattle Public School property. Broadview Thompson K-8 sits just a few yards away.
It was horrific to be there and to think that you're sending your child to that school every day. And just right behind the school, there's so much danger and awfulness.
Ryle Goodrich has watched the Bitter Lake homeless encampment evolve and grow over the last year.
It's really unbelievable. It's worse than you can imagine.
He snapped this photo of a samurai sword leaning against one of the tents. Another photo shows a target. He says a man was using it while throwing an axe. Recently, he caught this video of what sounds like a woman yelling in distress.
I have been on the playground and looked over, and I've seen open drug use 15 feet away. The school is a completely unsafe place.
In July, Seattle Public Schools set out a plan to address concerns. They partnered with local nonprofit Anything Helps. The goal? Clear by next school year.
We recognize that folks are concerned about this, and we are working very hard to do something about it.
But now the school year is here, and the encampment is still here too, with all 55 of its inhabitants.
It's because of the many layers of helping these folks that the pacing of it is not going as rapidly as we had hoped.
The district maintains the area is safe. Still, they're adding new safety measures.
I'm going to say that they were safe, but we have installed additional fencing, new gating, more security is going to be there moving forward. So there have been measures taken.
But with no clear date in sight, a fence does little to block out Ryle's concerns.
No child should have to endure what the children of Broadview Thompson are enduring.
We reached out to the mayor's office to see if they have any plans to interject here. Still waiting to receive word back from them. In Seattle, Elle Thomas, KIRO 7 News.
Just ahead on KIRO 7 News, natural disasters, the crisis in Afghanistan, and other catastrophes have put a strain on organizations hoping to help. Hear from one group worried about donor fatigue. Plus, the latest timeline for a COVID booster shot. Why medical experts say people won't want to skip it.